Hey everybody, it's Romania Black. We are on episode 20 of JuJutsu Kaisen. So we have 5 episodes left. We have this episode and then 4 more. I don't know what we're doing. At this point in the series, we've had this Kyoto sister event, and with this Kyoto sister event, we've been building up, and now everything's gone awry since Hanami showed up. And last episode, man, Mappa, just Todou and Yuuji teaming up to take on this curse, and just the animation. It was peak shonen. It was just like the most shonen-y thing, like amazing animation, awesome fight scenes, the broness, the the emotion, the heart, like it was all there, and I was all here for it. So what do we do now? Because clearly Hanami's not done. So what do we do now? So I'm so curious, and like I said last episode, I'm really curious about how Gojou is going to fit into all of this, because they made this barrier to keep Gojou out. So now that everybody's leaving the barrier to go back up with him, what are we going to do with that? Is Geto going to show up? What's his connection to all this? Because Geto is probably the one we know least about out of this whole series, other than like the old man with the guitar. Out of our antagonists, we know Mahito. We know that he's a curse born from human hatred. We know about Jogo. We know about Hanami. We know about even the octopusy thing, which probably isn't important. But Geto, for being a major antagonist, we know almost nothing about him except apparently he's a curse user, which means he's an evil jujutsu sorcerer. But he doesn't want anybody from the academies to see him, so he clearly has prior engagement with them. So I'm just really curious. I like this show a lot because it's not been predictable. Like, it's followed a lot of the shonen formulas. Like this, for example, this Kyoto Sister Exchange. I came into this whole thing thinking it was going to be like a tournament arc. Like, we're going to have, like, one-on-one battles. No, that's not what it's been at all. It's been, like, group things. And then that went awry because they were trying to kill Yuji. And so it's taking what we think we are expecting of shonen anime, and it's subverting it in very interesting ways. And so I'm kind of all about it. So going into this episode, I don't know what we're going to be doing, but I'm really excited. So don't let me down, Mappa. You have not yet. You have been pretty flawless this season in terms of animation, so I'm pretty excited. And with it being the last 5 episodes, I'm just curious how they're going to round this out, because I don't know. I don't read the manga, so I don't know. So in any case, we are going to start episode 20, non-standard, here for JuJutsu Kaisen, and see what happens. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we are going to start this new episode here in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go. I didn't think that the baseball and the OP was going to make a comeback and be an actual thing. But it is, apparently. Oh my gosh. These last couple of episodes have gone by so fast because there's been so much happening, and they've been so good. Like, they've been really good. And this one, again, just following up from the last episode, just peak shonen, just nonstop action. That was action and comedy straight through. First of all, okay, Todou. I freaking love Todou. And I don't just love him because he's funny, because he's hilarious. Like, the idea of him getting his crush's advice in the dream, that's hilarious. But Todou is a strategist. Like, Todou is smart. And that's the thing. Usually in anime and in some series, you have the big bulking character that he's like the super tough, strong character, and he's played for comic relief. Like, he's a source of comedy, which Todou definitely is. And he's strong, insanely strong. Like, he hasn't really even been using cursed energy. His technique is just clap on, clap off, and swap in and swap out, which I like that they made a callback, because we got a preview of that a few episodes ago, and this brought it back, and I was like, oh yeah. But usually in shows, the big brawny character that's the comic relief isn't smart, right? He's just a big doofus, okay? Todou's not, though. Todou is incredibly smart, and he's smart enough to strategize. He knows he's been watching and observing Hanami, and observing like all of his strategies, all of his techniques, like his actions, and trying to pinpoint, okay, how do we counter this? How do we do that? Like, he's not dumb at all. Todou is very smart and very good at strategy. He's just this big, giant goofball. And I love him. Like, in episode 8, I'll admit, in episode 8, I did not care for Todou at all. I was like, he's just trying to beat up Fushiguro. I don't get it. He's just like, what's your type? But now it all makes sense. I should have had more faith, because now it all makes sense. And this badass woman that got him to join the Jujutsu Sorcerers, I want to see her. Like, I want to see this woman, because she looks awesome. And we just get a tease of her. I'm like, oh, show. If there'd better be a second season of JuJutsu Kaisen, which I'm sure there will be, because it's been popular. But I'm like, there needs to be a second season, because I'm sure that she's going to come up again. And she's the one that gave him the line. I like that twist. It's a woman that gave him the line. What type of woman's your type? I really love that. That little subversion of that, I was like, oh, so cool. The origin of that line and where it came from and who got him into being a Jujutsu sorcerer. I like it. I like it a lot. And then Todou, man, Todou's technique and everything, so good. Yeah, Gojou's right. Yuuji and him are a perfect pair. And I love it. Speaking of Gojou, so Jura or Juva, maybe, I can't remember what they called him, but the guy that wants to make Gojou into a coat rack enlisted this curse user that was there for like a hot second, and then he ran away. I'm like, so I'm assuming he's going to come back into play, the guy with the sword maybe, and maybe they're going to catch him and interrogate him too. They got the coat rack man to interrogate, so there's that. I love the idea of the old man being an amp. The old man is the amplifier, and he amplifies the cursed energy through his object, so it's kind of like Maki, kind of like that, only he's creating cursed energy and using an instrument to channel it. It's interesting. And then Udahime with Nobara and Maki, like queens. Love it. But that weird guy, yeah, I'm curious to know if we see him again. I'm sure we will. I find in this show that you wouldn't just randomly bring up this rando character and then he disappear and you never see him again. Like, I'm sure he's going to come up again. And Mahito, I talked about last episode, this whole thing could have been a distraction just so they could go get the finger. And they did. So we still haven't seen Geto. But, so I'm curious if that's going to come back up. But yeah, Gojou. His eyes are beautiful, and I get where some people are like, oh, Gojou's hot, but I'm sorry, but Gojou's terrifying. Gojou has this kind of creepiness to him that he's like a doll, and those eyes just make him look very doll-like, but also kind of soulless. And Gojou is very much the shonen archetype of the super OP character that it gives me very Urahara vibes from Bleach, where he's all like, hey, fun times, everything's a joke, and then under the surface he's a really serious character. And I'm like, oh, crud. And yeah, Gojou was like sitting there like, okay, who do I help first? They look like they're doing okay. This is fine. How damage control? What do I do? And it's like, okay, I'm going to take care of Coat Rat guy first and leave him with the old man, and then go back and take care of Hanami before he runs away. And it was just like that. Like, just done. And I like that Todou knew enough since he was like, don't get near him. Gojou's got this. The veil's over. We're good. So I'm curious. They said it was 30 minutes is how long they had. So I'm assuming they were just trying to buy 30 minutes of time and then go from there. So that in that 30 minutes, they'd cause enough ruckus to distract so they could go in and steal. Because it looked like Mahito had transfigured 2 people guarding the finger and then took it and left. Which they must not have been very strong sorcerers if they were really at all, because they look like the theater guys, like they got defeated pretty easily. And then Black Flash, I love that Nanami. So I'm curious. You guys can comment down below, or we'll find out later. But it sounds like Black Flash is a technique that maybe different users can learn. So Nanami held the record for 4, but I think Yuuji might have broke that record, or he at least tied it. I think he might have broke it. But, yeah. Huh. Yeah. That's just crazy, y'all. Really, really cool. I love it. Gojou, his technique mixing the red and the blue to make the purple, and it goes back to the OP, the purple lightning. I honestly, when we saw them playing baseball in the OP, I thought it was just like maybe one of Todou's dreams or alternate realities. But no, we're playing baseball next episode? Okay. Well, we had this special grade curse come and nearly kill all of us. It's time to play ball. I'm really curious how they spin that. Or maybe Gojou's going to use this as an exercise to try to figure out who the traitor is. Because it looks like there is an imposter among us. There's an Among Us scenario where we have a traitor and we got to deal with that. What are we going to do? I'm super curious, guys. But man, this episode was so good. Just, Mappa, you're killing it on the animation. I love this funky, jazzy soundtrack that this show has. Like that song playing during the Hanami fight, I was like, I need to download this later and jam to this because it's cool. And then just all the characters coming together. So, this episode does have me curious about Gojou, though, because if he's the type of character that is underneath the surface of his trolling is a more serious character, then there's probably some baggage there. I'm sure that the manga readers are probably like, you don't want to know the baggage, but I kind of want to know the baggage. And I'm sure we're going to find out eventually. Don't spoil me, but I just get that impression. I'm like, oh, Gojou, you got some stuff going on. And I'm wondering if it's tied to Geto. Because we've been made this big deal that Geto can't be seen by anybody. And who would be the one to see him? But it would be Gojou. But yeah, that was awesome. That whole episode was really great. I loved it, start to finish. I hope that Fushigoro's okay. I'm hoping we get to see him next episode. It looks like we will. So I'm guessing he got treated and he's okay. And Inumaki looks like he's okay too. So yay. But man, we don't have resolution on whether Hanami's still alive or not. Mahito's got the finger, which is a problem. And yeah, the coat rack guy has been captured by our people, and we might find out some information. I'm guessing that while they're playing the baseball game, Gojou and them are going to be interrogating the hell out of the coat rack man. So I'm curious how that's going to go next episode. That should be interesting. But yeah, 4 more episodes left, guys. I don't know what they're going to do. I honestly thought that this whole Hanami thing would last the rest of the season and that we'd just keep building it up. But we seem to have, for the moment, resolved things. So, interesting. But yeah, I'm curious to know your thoughts down below. Please, no manga spoilers, but so much introduced in this episode, characters being introduced that I'm sure are going to come up again, concepts and ideas being introduced that I'm sure are going to come up again. This is a nice little, as we talk about Hanami and the buds, planting the seeds of things that will later develop and pan out. I'm so intrigued. But in the meantime, I hope you all have a wonderful week. Please stay safe and take care, and I will be back next week with episode 21 of JuJutsu Kaisen.